Hello everybody. Hello everybody, welcome to the Sound Test Stream. Today we are going to take a good look at the Rosetta MIDI sequencer suite from Bram. We know it's been out for ages and ages, but it's still so useful. 10 independent apps for the price of one, basically. That's what it is, 10 apps for the price of one. And it's incredibly good. It's very useful. I mean, I use the Rosetta sequencer suite a lot of the time. You'll see I'm starting to sound like Christopher Walken. You see, I use the Rosetta sequencer suite for lots of different things, but we're going to go through the whole thing. So I'm not going to actually create a session, but I am going to give you a tutorial on how to use, if I can get through it in an hour, every single one of these. And there's some very, very cool stuff you can do that you probably haven't tried doing. So at the moment I have pure piano here. And we're going to keep this pretty simple, so I'm not going to go over complicated. So first thing we're going to look at is Rosetta Lfo here. Rosetta Lfo needs the transport to be running for it to work. Okay, so that's important. You might do all these connections and it doesn't work. It's probably because you haven't got the transport running. So each Rosetta Lfo has 3 LFOs that are completely independent. And the CC channels they choose as default are 13, 15 and 17. So that's absolutely fine. There's nothing really else assigned to those. And of course you have the rest of them you can choose from as well if you want to. So, okay, what we're going to do is we'll leave this open like this. And in pure piano, I would like my Rosetta Lfo controlling the morph pad. So we started with pure piano because it's very simple, it's very easy. All we need to do, right, you've got your LFO open here in a MIDI channel. My keyboard, my little Arturia is connected via the Steinberg hub. So I'll just reconnect it there. So, ding. And to connect LFO, you can do it like this. And trust me, this is the easiest way you can connect the LFO. Right, so first of all, we're going to tap on, you see the little mixer icon here on pure piano. We're going to tap on this. And this will open up the things that you can control. All of these things. In a lot of things, there's lists and lists and lists of this stuff. Okay, so, but we only need to be worried about 2 things, the morph pad X and the morph pad Y. These are the main things that can be controlled by external stuff, MIDI stuff with pure piano. First thing to do is where it says here, no MIDI source, tap to connect. You tap this and it will look for any MIDI source that you have, i.e. my keyboard, a network session, but you'll also see that Rosetta Lfo is there in M11, so MIDI channel 1. Number 1. We're going to just tap on this and now these 2 things are connected together. Okay, so we can go back now and there is a couple of ways we can do this. Right now with an XY pad I would suggest that you actually route the MIDI directly to what you want, because it can get tricky if you're trying to touch control stuff like this. So for this particular instance, what we're going to do is tap on morph pad X here, and you'll see it says off. First of all, we'll just turn it on. Channel 1, absolutely fine. Okay, you can set it to whatever channel you like if you have like something on channel 3, etc. or whatever, but we're in channel 1 for this, so it's absolutely cool. Here where it says CC, you can have this be a note or PC, I don't know what that is, or pitch bend, right? So, or I'm not even sure what that is neither, but I'm going to stick with CC because that's the most obvious thing, and I'm going to go with number 13. Okay, because we know that in this, sorry, our Rosetta Lfo here, 13 is the first one, and don't forget that it needs to be running, you see. And what's happening now is that we have this. Thanks, Colin. So we can go in again here and choose the morph pad Y, and we'll set this, we'll switch it on, we'll set this one to 15, okay? And now you will see that we have this effect going on. So now we can make adjustments to our speed, so our rate. So 13 and 15 are now controlling this. And we can control the range, so minimum and maximum, minimum and maximum are going to be, this is going to be full range now. But we don't really want it to be full range, so let's take it down a little bit. And let's bring the minimum down a little bit, up a little bit, sorry, minimum up a little bit for this. Take the maximum down a little bit as well. So it's not so drastic, you know. We'll take this down closer and this to closer to this. So, and the speed, I'm going to slow them down, look. So that I'm happy with. Okay, so that's how you set up LFO. We're going to do next, I'll show you another way you can set the hi Sam. I'm going to show you another way you can set this up. We're going to put in a black hole now. And I'm going, actually what I'll do is I'll go into pure and I'll increase the velocity. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to add an XY pad to control certain parameters. So click on here, go to Audio Unit Extension, this is where they all live, and go and find Rosetta XY. If you can't find them, just go like, you know, just search for Bram Boss or Rosetta. But Rosetta XY. We're going to open this up, and this is an XY pad, and these are the amounts that the effect will take place. So you can have these pretty much set in the center. So now you'll notice on these 15, 13, 14 and 17, okay, are set to control. Now we don't need to worry about it overlapping or being a problem for our other one, because we're only connecting this one to a black hole. Okay, so it's absolutely cool. It's independent of this one. If we open black hole now, tap on our little things here, you'll see that Rosetta Lfo is the MIDI source. Well, we're going to change that to Rosetta XY. Okay, so it's just remembered the previous MIDI source. Just make sure that your MIDI source is what you want it to be. And I want it to be Rosetta XY. And this time, you see, because there's loads and loads of them, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap this little icon here. And this is genius. This is really clever. I'm going to tap this little icon here, like that. Right, and I'm going to just open XY pad as well. So we know that 15, 13, and then 14, 17 are the ones we're looking for. And you'll see this little rotating thing now because we tapped that button instead of assign them independent. All we need to do now is move a controller on black hole, and it will bring up the MIDI information for that particular channel. So if I move, say, size, it brings this up, and I'm going to go, okay, I'm going to set that to channel 1 because that's absolutely fine, and I'm going to set this to number 15. Okay, don't worry about this. So, and then I'm going to press next, and I'm going to choose mix. So I'm going to twiddle mix, and mix I'm going to set to 13. Okay, and then I'm going to make sure that's switched on as well. Don't worry about that. So now when I move this, oh, actually, yeah, we've got to switch it off first. So tap that again. Now when I move this, you'll see the size and the mix of Black Hole are being controlled by the XY. As well as, of course, now I don't know why. Oh, that's weird. I don't know why. Maybe I should have set it to a separate channel, but anyway. That should still be reading from thingy. And that's how you set up the XY pad. Okay, so now what we can do is close all this stuff out and look at another one. So what we're going to do now is something that's a little bit more complicated than just routing stuff to stuff. Okay. So we're going to take away LFO. Now this is really cool. You'll have some really good fun with this version. So what we're going to do is change this now to something. We can take that out as well. Change this to something like a synth. Let's see. I think I'll use maybe Galileo organ, and I'm just going to set this up to play with my MIDI keyboard for a sec. So MIDI inputs here, and I'm just going to choose another. Okay, so that organ sound, right? So next, quickly, I'm going to show you, let's go. I'm going to show you cells, Rosetta cells. So I'll search for that. So Rosetta, and boink, here we go. Rosetta cells. And I'm going to disconnect the MIDI keyboard, the MIDI input, which is my Steinberg. I'm going to disconnect that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, and this is where you have to start paying attention to stuff. Tap on the toaster icon. MIDI input for cells, I'm going to use my MIDI controller. So that, yours will be whatever it is. MIDI output for cells, we're going to tip on this. MIDI output for cells, we're going to send to Galileo. Okay, so we're going to stop this. This is a polyphonic sequencer, right? So you'll see that once I hit record, it will put a chord in there, and then if I have advanced switch on, it will move along like this. Okay, so now we've got all these steps, and if I play and switch record off, okay, so I'm going to clear all this out. So it's going to remove. Can I just set up a? init, yes. There are other ways to do this, right? So the first cell, you must have record switched on it. If you don't want it to advance, switch advance off. And if you don't want a chord in there, just hit a note. Oops, let's just put it in there and I'll remove that. Go back to there. So I'll put it into there. And then I can move along by hand and put the next one in here. And that's a chord. And then I can go, or maybe I want the rest there instead, or put a chord back in, go to this one, want to rest, go to this one, want to rest, go to this one, then this one, but put advance on and it will, and then switch record off and then play through. Okay. There's different ways you can have this play as well. Random. And then linear. And then the gate time, resolution. One bar, 2 bars, and then 1/16. And then you can gate it. Okay. And this is a good point. This is a good time to show you Scalar. Okay, so in here, we're going to put in audio unit. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Audio unit extension. And I'm going to go and find Scalar. So Scalar, there it is, Rosetta Scalar. Now, what Scalar does is, it's easier to explain. You have to send notes into Scalar. So what we're doing here is basically going to be creating a triangle. So we can disconnect this. So where it says MIDI input for Rosetta cells, we can, let's just go into my Steinberg, isn't it? So that's fine. But we've got information in there now, so I can disconnect that. So it's still got stuff going in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to send, where it says MIDI output, it's going to Galileo, right? We'll take that off. Now we're going to go MIDI output. We're going to send that into Scalar. MIDI output from Scalar, we're going to send into Galileo. Okay? So it's like you're creating like a triangle. See how it sounds different? Well, watch this is super cool. This is Scalar. It's a scale quantizer. There's loads of scales. Okay, so that's how Scalar works. So just for now, let's go with our MIDI output and disconnect that from Galileo. Okay, so and also the MIDI input we can disconnect from cells. We're going to take cells away, and what we're going to do is we're going to replace cells with a chord bud. Okay, because there's nothing in Rosetta Suite that'll actually do this like this. So what we're going to do now with chord bud is I'm just going to pile in a bunch of chords from this C major scale. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and one more, I guess, for good luck. Another D minor. It doesn't matter. It's fine. So now we have this. Okay, so straight away, what we can do is, if we want to, we can send the MIDI output to Galileo here like this, and then chord bud's going to play those chords, right? Or we can send the MIDI output to Scalar. So MIDI output, take it away from there and send it into Scalar, and then send Scalar's MIDI output into Galileo. And it will take those chords and turn them into whatever you have set here. Scalar is really, really useful. Okay, so that's how you use Scalar with, say, chord bud. However, if we add in now, let's tap this and let's add in a Rosetta arpeggio, or Rosetta, and we'll go into the entire suite. Rosetta, and find arpeggio. Oh, there it is. So Rosetta arpeggio. Now what we're going to do is we're going to send, right, we can do this like this, it's easy. We're going to put the arp before the, so you can move it around, you see, like this. And it's the same with effects and things. We're going to put the arpeggiator first. We're going to make this connection. We're going to keep Scalar going to Galileo. But what we're going to do is, where it says MIDI outputs, we're going to take this off Scalar and put it into arpeggiator, into the Rosetta arpeggio. And then we're going to take the arpeggio MIDI out into Scalar and go back into Scalar. And then you can transpose the output or the input. No velocity for the Galileo, of course. So that's how you can get some very cool stuff going if you have chords being fed in. Now, of course, instead of using excuse me, instead of using chord bud, of course, you could use what's it called? Scalar 2. Not Scalar. Yeah, Scalar 2, not Rosetta Scalar 2. You can use that instead if you want to. So it's very, very, very cool. Lots of chords in there you can choose from and all, actually. Right, anyway, done. Righty ho. So that's that. We're gonna take a look at something else now. So we're gonna get into the realms of other stuff you can do. So again, I'm gonna open a MIDI channel. I'm gonna open an audio. I'm gonna look for Troublemaker. So Troublemaker modded. That'll be fine. This is another Bram Boss app. what we're going to do is use Rosetta baseline now. Okay, so I might not have time to get through them all, but you see how mind-bogglingly useful they are. They're just absolutely fab. Yeah, turn that down, so that's okay. I don't even know. What scale are we in? Let's set this. Let's set this to a minor pentatonic, and let's set it to a minor pentatonic, and just let's see what we can set up here. So we can leave that quiet at the moment. It's not important. What we're going to do is open up here audio unit extension, and this time we're going to look for a Rosetta baseline. So I'm going to look at baseline bass. Rosetta baseline. Rosetta baseline. These are very similar to some of the other Rosetta apps in the fact that you can build up patterns and have these patterns automatically change for you. First of all, we're going to connect the MIDI output, of course, MIDI output to Troublemaker. And we'll see that there's nothing happening, but it is tracking along. We have to generate something for it to do. So let's go here and just go generate. What did I say? Minor pentatonic and A in A. So generate. Okay. Keep generating until you're happy. Now, with baseline, of course, you also have options like how many steps. All the way up to, I think, probably 16, 24, 32, 48, 64. And anytime you want, you can and tap between to bring in a slide, but just regenerate anytime you like. So say for instance, say you like that pattern. Okay, now this also works for I think Rosetta Rhythm and also XOX, possibly some others, but definitely XOX and Rosetta Rhythm. What we're going to do is we're going to copy this pattern. I'll show you how the sequencer system works inside of Rosetta baseline. It's very clever and it's very cool and makes life very easy as well. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to hit this little copy button. So I'll go through another couple of things. See, here we go with MIDI. So you've got velocity levels, normal, accent and variation. So you can have variation for the MIDI. And then you've got this here, which will kind of you can transpose up and down, up and up. Okay, so you can do some stuff there. Real-time mutation probability. You can set all this up with slides and different things will happen. So here you go, you see, and it'll put in variations and stuff. And then this one again is where you generate a new sequence. And this will still be on 20% probability of putting a slide in there for you. Okay, that's very nice. What we're going to do is press copy, go to pattern 2 and press paste. And this now we're on pattern 2 and it'll be the same. Let's regenerate. So that's a slightly different pattern now. We're going to copy this one, copy and then paste. Don't know why that doesn't sound the same. Oh, I do. I'm going to regenerate. Okay, cool. That sounds different now. Come out of this. And what we can do is when we go in here, this is where we can set up how our sequence plays. And this is the same for Rosetta Rhythm and also XOX. So first of all, go to pattern 1. Hit this. I'm going to go to next. And it's going to ask me what, after 4 loops or 1 loop or how many. Well, after 4 loops, we'll have it go to the next pattern, which is, we know, is number 2. And then I'm going to go manual change, go to next, which will be number 3 after 4 loops. Go to number 3. And I'm going to have this go back to first after 8 loops. Okay? So hopefully now this will change after 4 times to number 2. And back to 1. Oh, thanks, Nova Cascade. Bless you. Thank you. And they should all fit in, because I've got the same key. Okay, so brilliant. So that's Rosetta baseline. All right. Excuse me. We need to. I'll show you some other stuff as well. Let's open up, say, something like. What time is it? Oh, all right. Let's see. Am I on here? Yes. I'm going to open up another MIDI channel for the start off. Move that there. Here I'm going to open up a Rosetta. This is the instrument, so Rosetta. Oh no, I'll go Bram Boss. Bram Boss, and we can see all of Bram's apps here. Now we'll use a ruse maker, okay, and we're going to use an XOX drum sequencer. So. Right, XOX drum sequencer, if you can find one. Oh, there it is, there's one there. And I'm also going to open up an XOX rhythm while I'm here. So XOX, did I miss it? No. XOX rhythm. All right. So these are the 2 kinds of drum things. Now you notice along the top again, you can set up changes in the pattern, so you can build up progressive patterns and after just press and play, no big deal. So we're going to first of all look at XOX quickly, and we're going to connect the MIDI output to XOX into Ruse Maker here. All right, and we're going to press play on our controller and open up XOX. We need to give it something. So bass drum, snare drum, clap, low tom, a mid tom, high tom, closed hat, open hat, bass drum. Here we go. Closed hat now. Once you set all this stuff up as you want, like I said, you know, you could change the pattern, so you could go copy and paste, put some snare in now. It has a very cool thing, a velocity, of course, which is like will control the volume more or less. But you also have this thing called mutate. It will mutate every single. It will mutate the drum that is selected. So but if you go back to pattern 1, Okay. And of course we can go to Rhythm Maker and change our kits. And you can make adjustments here, of course. On actual Rhythm Maker. Okay, and like everything else now, it's all going to be linked in. Okay, cool beans. Let's just, for the moment, let's disconnect Rosetta XOX. Oh, also as well, I should say that you can also go into, let's go into pattern 3 where it is. I don't know why I'm I don't know why that's not changing. MIDI output. Right. Oh, right. You can go in here like any of the others, and cool. You can set up velocity levels, etc., and variations. But here, Bram has also put in some MIDI mapping. So Rhythm Maker, which is the kind of default thing here, which is this, which is what it is. But if you wanted to, if you've got any of these other drum machines like Gadget, Beatmaker 3, loads of them, look, there's loads. These are the MIDI mappings for those because they may not necessarily coincide with general MIDI. So you have options there without having to kind of go in through, set each of the 8 channels up individually. Anyway, that's just another thing. You do have generate as well, so nothing in 3 at the moment, obviously. So let's generate a pattern. And you can choose what generates and what doesn't. So just gonna generate a pattern for the clap. Let's do one for the so that's that. Let's disconnect the MIDI output from XOX from our Rhythm Maker, and let's go to our Rosetta Rhythm. And Rosetta Rhythm is slightly different. XOX is like a standard kind of drum machine, you know, like easy to program. You understand it's going to make ordinary beats for you. You can program it as you wish, right? Rosetta Rhythm is slightly different. So MIDI output for Rosetta Rhythm we're going to send into Rhythm Maker. Okay, press play and open Rosetta Rhythm. Now this is Rosetta Rhythm. This is more like Euclidean or polymetric sequencing. You do this, you can start by tapping. Well, let's just see. I'm not sure how you actually how this works. Oh, that's a mute. So you can definitely go on here and generate, but you can also, let's take that off. You see they're all set at different lengths. So if I choose this clap channel here and I'm adding some beats in, see, and I can change the length. Bass drum we can decrease to odd steps, you see. I think David Collette would definitely know if this was Euclidean or polymetric because he's a genius. And again, you have the same options to save patterns, repeat patterns, etc. Or, of course, go and change your drums. Thanks, Wall. Okay. shift stuff around. See? So that's the difference between XOX and Rhythm. Of course, they're all playing the same kind of thing. Right, so awesome. Let's do this. Let's go on. Let's add a MIDI channel and let's go and add an instrument in for the next couple. I think we'll just finish with these, no matter how many is left. But I'll have a look at what I haven't covered. I haven't covered collider and particles. They're pretty cool as well. But we're getting through most of them, and I'm sure you can see that if, hopefully, maybe even if you've got it, you know, you might want to drag this out again, or also you might give you some, kind of things. If you're liking the video, please subscribe, consider super thanks, super chats, etc. It all helps, and is very much appreciated by me and Joe. Here's the thing. Let's run with an instrument for starters. So let's go with something like, hey, I don't know. Oh, I know. What's it called? I can't remember what it's called now. Oh, House Mark 1, yeah. Oops. There we go. I love this. It's lovely. Right, so Audio Kit House Mark 1. I'm going to open this and I'm going to choose audio extension, and we're going to look at Rosetta. Rosetta, like this. See what we've got going on. So we've done baseline, arpeggio, scalar, cells, XY pad, LFO. So we've only got 2 left, so that's good. So thanks. Oh, Rustique, how are you? Hope you're all well, mate. So 2 left to do: collider and particles. So I'll open a collider, and I'll also open a particles, a Rosetta particles, Rosetta, and look for particles. Now these are similar but different. I know that sounds a bit bonkers. So first of all, we're going to take our MIDI output again from collider, and we're going to put this into House Mark 1. Press play. Let's just and let's have a look at collider. So collider is like a hadron collider type vibe. Not that I would know what a hadron collider is, but there you go. I think there's one in Switzerland. All right, so we can see at the moment it's playing I think it's a C minor natural. Let's go to A and minor harmonic. So there's your scale. It's fine. Grid size we can increase. We can nudge the particles around. We can generate a new sequence, but we can increase the amount of, let's just get this there like this. Let's just do it like that. We can increase the number of hadrons. We can adjust the pitch, the velocity, you see. And like everything else, it's you can change this if you want to. So that's collider. So let's disconnect the MIDI output from collider. from Housemark 1, and let's do the same for particles. Let's go MIDI output, connect it to Housemark 1 and see what we've got going on now. Okay, it's moving very slow now. Speed, density, minor natural, so we're going to go minor harmonic, A. See, it will make a noise as soon as it hits the wall, but let's speed it up at A. Let's spread these out a bit. Density, so basically more of them. You have note range here and velocity range. You can hear the velocity now being triggered on maximum every now and then. Speed it up a bit more. Note range. Quantize. For resolution. And because we're still in the right key and scale, and there, guys. Right. Use host transport. I had that switched off. Right, so guys, thank you very, very much for joining me this evening, where we took a look at all 10 of them, and showed you how to use them. And don't forget, like we did with these, we can mix and match with them. We can try different things. Just remember that the last thing that you want to be controlling the instrument needs to be the last thing in the MIDI chain. And that's, you know, kind of key to get, especially things like Scalar, you know, otherwise it will sound like a weird mess and you'll be thinking, well, what's going on here, like, you know. Anyway, guys, I'll just mess around with this for a few minutes while you say ta-ra to each other, and we shall hopefully be back tomorrow with some more madness. I really do hope you enjoyed this, and yeah, it's great. Rosetta is just so useful, and I think kind of essential. It doesn't just work in AUM, of course you can use it in anything you like, but for sure things like Scalar, I've seen some people not use it quite right and it doesn't sound. And I've never, actually, funnily enough, never done a tutorial for Scalar because I don't use it that often. But if it's for things like this, it's cool. If we're just kind of soloing out the organ sound, for instance, I'll play with Scalar for the next few minutes and you can get an idea. Anyway, guys, bless you all. See you later. Ta-da! Last night I was going to say, wasn't I, Colin? Colin, I think, has gone over 1,000 subscribers now. But if you're not subscribed to Colin Powell, go and subscribe to him. Okay, because he's retired now and he needs to be cheered up a bit, you know.